Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all the members of the public. I just want to say thank you so much for having some time coming to watch this video today. And today I've come out to speak to the African community in Cambodia, precisely Phnom Penh. And I am here not to judge anybody, not to condemn anybody, but to, in a way, voice out to wake up our sense of awakening. Awaken us from being too careless, being too reluctant to do what we are supposed to do, and to remind us that as we are getting older, assuming and accepting more responsibility, not only for family, in the way we behave in our everyday life, especially in our society, especially in our African community. I don't want to believe that anyone left his or her home country to go to a foreign country to constitute nuisance or to be a concern to any particular group or people of any kind. I will begin with a short story of myself. I was a young boy who was determined to do a lot of things in life. I was inspired by a lot of people around me and people that I have seen from distance, people whose life has impacted our community as well as our country in general, even the continent. And thank God to environment I grew up in. I was exposed early enough, and there were goals that I set in my heart that even many of it I wrote down at the very younger age of mine at that time. There was nothing in life that would have made me to leave Nigeria if it was not for football, because I don't think I had any reason as at that time to complain of what life was or what it means to live a responsible life or to have a stable life. I have no reason to do that. But just as time progresses, and the more we grow, the more we understand, the more our desires are growing, the more we want to achieve things in a different way. I left Nigeria with the hope that when I get out, my reality or the environment I'll find myself, I'll be able to do and work towards my dream and achieve them. Just to, in a way of summary anyway. But the reality hit me differently, that what I have seen abroad is opposite of what I've had in my head. It affected me a little while, but just as I was living the life, I wanted to go back because I felt like life was much better and comfortable for me in my home country than being in a place where people will analyze who I am, walking on the street, people laughing at me, people pointing fingers at me, people as like making assumptions about me or misunderstanding who I am and all that kind of stuff. But in this thing, there was something that was binding me. I took a child, a boy who was way younger than me when I was living, and this family has trusted him entrusted him into my care. And I was wondering if I had to leave and go back home, what could be the fate of these people? What would the family think? They would probably think that I scammed them or that I deceived them to use their money to spend in order that I can achieve my dream of going abroad and coming back Or probably just deceiving them that you know how we think of people because we lack trust for ourselves, for one another, and this is the community, this is the system we were born into. All right, I promise not to talk too much. The reason I'm doing these things, I remember years that I've been in this abroad, especially in Cambodia, where I was just living the life with no plan because I was devastated with the reality I was living with. And I decided to just find any next available place to have fun and forget my dream for a while. I was lost, I was forgotten, I was hopeless, though happy. I was clueless about what life was. I was somewhat irresponsible of my own self, though I never disrespect people that much or the laws of the society. But I was ignorant of so many reality. I was just living the life that was available to me or that I thought that I knew at that time. The mistakes that I have made in life, the things that I've done, the ways that I've gone, the path that I've taken in life, I don't regret them. They have turned me into the person I'm becoming, and I'm grateful to God for that. However, there are a lot of consequences. There are a lot of consequences, to which is the reason or part of the reason why I am always writing and talking and posting and all that, in order to correct those that are coming after us. Not to put myself out as the wisest person or the most careful person, is as the most educated person or the most eloquent African in Cambodia or in Asia. That's never my dream. I never thought about that. I'm just here trying to see that many of us who are lacking direction right now do not go in the same way that we went, or that we did things that we did the years back. You see, it is very shameful and degrading in the way so many of our brothers are living in this country, living in this Asia. And when you try to tell people things, they feel like you're trying to prove that you know better. Yes, I know better because I've lived through it. Something happened last weekend. I've spoken to few people concerning it. A lot of people are aggravated. I am not good at pointing accusing finger to people. Rather, I'm good at looking at the cause and effect. Here is what I'm going to say. We have delegated powers in our community today. We have people that are leading various associations in our community. Those positions are not only for events and parties and eating and drinking and all that. Those positions account for action taking, discretion, rehabilitation of the wrong minds and ideas of people, or those that are constituting nuisance in our community, denting the image of those who are genuine and hardworking in their intent in having a life away from home. Nigeria is super far. Everybody knows that. Africa is far away from Asia. It pains me a lot when I see, even in our younger age era, we didn't do things like fighting in the public and social vices like cultism, drugs, and all that. The highest thing I've done in life, worst thing I've done in life is smoking weed. I'm not afraid, I'm not shy to say this. That's my past. Drug is dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. And those of you that are taking it, and after taking it, you start acting so indiscriminately and irresponsibly and rude. Just imagine last Saturday, Mr. Austin was speaking to us on the birthday celebration of Sam. Nobody could accord him a due respect by just listening for 2-3 minutes in our community. I wonder how you live with your children. Do they listen to you as well? You see, we must learn to live responsibly. Earlier in that morning, there was an incident that happened in Belle Belle Training Center, and I hope that will be the first and the last one. Why after that happened, I was, even till now, I'm still expecting a proper address from the task force of the Belle Belle to make a proper warning and announcement and warning to perpetrators of people who come to a place where all our community will come together to have fun and share food with one another, get to meet another, we attend to people. In fact, Belle Belle has been a major blessing to so many people. And anyone coming from his house or his nightclub outing and drunk and that, listen, for a man above the age of 25, going to 30, 35, 40, to come and constitute nuisance and later blame it on alcohol is an act of irresponsibility, because with your two clear eyes and conscience, you position yourself into drinking alcohol. And when you're drinking alcohol, before drinking, you are already aware of the consequences of drugs taking and alcohol consuming. So you will never, it is very, 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 very inexcusable of anyone to think that after they've done all these stupid things and act and whatsoever in the public, and they put it on smoke and alcohol. No, you should be responsible for your action. At this age, I don't expect that we should be talking so much about people who misbehave in the public. Something happened equally last weekend, because I always like to use myself as an example. After training and food and all that, chatting and all that, I wanted to leave. Not that I wasn't having the money. I talked to the owner that, look, I was about to leave, then I forgot that I was supposed to pay for the ticket for washing over my bike. And I just told the guy, okay, please, I'm lazy right now. I don't really have rear. Let me just go. Next time I come, I'll pay you the extra. And the guy nodded his head like he understood what I was saying. When I was about leaving, Benga and ID, who are my many years of friendship, were shouting at me and were like trying to say like, what you're doing is, in fact, ID got so angry that he said some things that he shouldn't have said. Me, I not take him as an offense, because I was supposed to pay for people who wash my bike. 1,000 real is not compared to somebody stealing the bike that worth hundreds of dollars. All right? I came down, Razak came to me, and he said what happened, and I explained to him. He said, okay, I think it was Kewe or Razak who volunteered to give that 1,000 real. And last Saturday, when I went there, as I was about leaving, the same Benga and ID and some other people were watching me, thinking that I was going to repeat the same thing. I paid the man, and I went to ID. I said, you know the kind of person I am. I like to observe rules. It was just something. I just explained to him. He's like, yeah, how am I supposed to? We laugh over it. We must be very, very responsible for the things we do in our community. We always say that Cambodians don't like Africans, Cambodians don't like Africans. That's not true. This is not true. This is not the reality. If you behave and demonstrate live the life, you don't need to demonstrate it. Like, you show people the kind of person, the intent that you have, and the qualities of your abilities. the qualities that you have, I mean, the skills and all, like, you don't even need to be educated. If you are a person who respects yourself enough and you live in the midst of these people, they are never going to treat you bad or poorly. It is our approach. We must understand the differences in our culture and background. We are taking our stay in this country for granted. Those boys who came to Belle Belle to demonstrate some high level of stupidity and bringing all their social vices and all these kind of things into like courtesan, fight and argument. And a strong man is a man who went abroad, earn money and come back home to take care of his needs and his family's needs and become helpful to his community. That's a strong man, not the person who goes abroad to fight and constitute nuisance. Remember, as an African or as an expatriate, everywhere you are representing yourself, your family, your country, and your continent. And this is why, if any incident that happened that involved anybody, when the news is going to carry it, they put it a Nigerian man or an African man. They don't remember your father's name. I want to call on members or the leaders of our association in Cambodia. No names calling. We have several associations in this place. In our system of government back home, we have the state and the federal level. And the state have complete autonomy of decision making. NIDO is our mother umbrella, which is the federal government, and the other associations are state and local government levels, if you have to put it according to the aims, the arms of government. The state at a particular thing have some level of decision-making capacity, a drastic one and that, as long as they have the backing of the federal government, which is the NIDO in Cambodia. At this moment, I'm just going to remind all our state leaders, tribe and whatsoever, including the churches, to start awakening and taking orientation on the newcomers in the country as well as the old. I have discovered that it is not really the new people that are coming into this community that are constituting the nuisance. Rather, the old people who are disguising themselves, pretending to be who they are not. Don't think that people don't know who you are in this community. We all know who you are. We all know what you do. But I would advise that our community leaders awaken to their responsibility. When a particular person from your state or from your tribe or from the, call that person to order and bear the truth to them. A first one is a warning, is an advice. Second one is a warning. At the 10th attempt, there should be repercussion. Start holding NIDO entirely responsible for every action that needs to be taken in our community. I know the kind of president we have. He's a careful person. We have seen what happened or what have become an African community in Malaysia, in Singapore, and in recent Dubai. Cambodia is a home for everybody, not just Nigerians, not just Africans. And the truth is this, I hate to be treated as other people. And I just want to remind all of you that are doing stupid things in this our community that I hope you know that your stupidity is affecting both the innocent people as well. We need to change the way we behave. At the age of 25 to 35 to 40, a man going in a public fighting and doing things that we don't expect of him in a public, for me, there is no excuse for that. It's an act of irresponsibility. And if somebody treats you as such, don't take it as a hatred. We are brothers. We are people from the same country and continent, but that doesn't mean that we should accommodate you and all your excesses. Leaders in our community, please, we must learn at all costs to be responsible in our private life and as well as in our organizational roles in our community. Keep our hands clean of things that will make us inadequate, that will make us incapable of making a bold decision in our community. And because they eat and dine with all these same people and directing them and telling them this and that, that's why you see anything where they happen for our community, those who are supposed to correct them and caution them and tell them the truth cannot tell them, because the things that those people are doing now, they engineering them. For a man of 25 years going to 40 or 40 years and above in abroad, still carrying cultism in the head, disturbing a community in abroad, as long as I'm concerned, that is the highest level of irresponsibility. People who are in a cult, there are people who don't have self-confidence, people who don't have direction in life, people who don't know what love is, people who don't know what they should be doing in life. And I don't care what you think. And this is the truth. It's in the Bible. It's in everywhere. Lack of love. Children who lack love. People who don't know what they need to do. In those days, I think we have Professor Lawlessness, who is actually the pioneer of cultism in Nigeria, in Africa. He said that the reason cultism came into existence in his time was to fight for the justice and against the oppression of students in campuses and universities across Nigeria and Africa. And they achieved it. After that, when people started taking advantage of it and they started denting their image, they came out openly to denounce it. But here, there is a Nigerian in our community today who is supposed to be doing well, but because of his recent involvement in cult activities, he has gotten himself into a very deep mess in our community today. He's living a life that he feels like people don't know. But so many of us are aware of his reality and the dangers ahead of him. Abihari, all of you know me. I'm not a perfect person, but I desire to live a rightful life. Inside Belle Belle, na me that they choose last, na me that they abuse, na me everybody they talk to anyhow. It's not that I don't have strength to fight. I don't need to fight. I don't need to prove any point. I just know the consequences of my decision. That's why whatever, even the least 10 years old boy in our community, when they throw shade at me, if he pay me, I will stop coming to Belle Belle, or I will stop coming to your house, or anywhere you see me. That is my policy in life. I don't need, according to what one of our brothers said last Saturday, I don't have power to fight you. I don't know how to carry a knife to fight, now only to use and cut food shop. I don't know how to do anything. But if you come for me, now police, army, anything possible under the law, without me oppressing you, I will follow you up from Cambodia to Nigeria, anywhere you go in this world. And I'm not making mouth. I have the capacity to do that. I know the way out, I know the way in to do that. But I will not endanger, or put my life in the hands of people who are not supposed to talk to me, so they will have an opportunity to talk to me. This video is long because I feel that a lot is going on in our community that needs to be addressed. I'm not the spokesperson, I'm not the president, but in a way, I'm an image maker, which is why I feel the need to do this video. I don't have connection. I don't know immigration. I don't know police. I don't know anything. I'm just a nobody, but a child of God who believe in truth, and I tell the truth to people, and I live in the way of the truth. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't aim to gain relevance, but I wish to bear the truth to all of us in our community. We don't get respect. There is no atom of respect in our community for our elders. Look at those boys harassing Obieze. By age, if we are back home, most of us cannot sit in the same place with people like them Obieze, them Austin, them boys, and the rest of them. Yet they are simple, they are laughing with us, they shake hands with us, we eat with them, they come to drink in our house, they visit us. We are taking a lot of things for granted in this our community. Where we are back home, if these men, with all that they have achieved, we go to them, most of us will not even sit close to them and lie down, we'll lie down, or we'll go sit down in a distance with police guard and all those kind of things. We are dealing with issue of lack of respect, irregardless of how much you think you are worth, or what you think you are, or whatever courtesan activities you think you have involved with that have engulfed your head with stupidity, that we don't respect one another. We play football, people abuse people in the field, people just take food. That Belle Belle is a place of fun. To bring the community together, have fun every Saturday or whenever it's coming. Any competition we are going to play, it's not a do or die. It's just for us to play and have fun. Some of us will not go carry our head. You use it as an opportunity to abuse people and say all manner of things. I'm not going to edit this video. As I'm recording it, that's how I'm put it on air. I'm doing it because I don't aim to make any money out of it. But I aim to reach your conscience right now, wherever you are, that we need to correct ourselves. Any group you belong in, let it be in the fact that you are using it to benefit yourself, your friends are benefiting from it without violence and without disrespect to law and order of the host country, and as well as people that are leading us in our community. All association leaders, you must be up and doing in your role playing in our community building. Everything must not be directed at Mr. Austin. Like he always said, he's not a monopoly. He's not a monopoly of knowledge or leadership. He also seeks the conscience and the advice from all of us. Task force in Belle Belle, I will say it again, I am still waiting for your public address of what happened. Regardless of who has spoken to the parties involved, there must be a proper announcement that these people cannot bring their issues to where we come together as a community. It should never be heard of. It should never be seen again. Let it never, never happen again in our community. Then, leaders in our community, Mona, they tell these boys the truth. And those of you elders in this country that are doing things that are affected, that are not telling the younger ones the truth and leading them in the way of destruction. I remember one of the ways, the reason why I still respect Gaddafi without thinking twice and all those things, I remember I had 3 days overstay. I was on street 288. I'm very precise. In the year 2010, with money in my pocket, I knew no way to immigration. I know nobody to go. I was worried of my passport and my visa going off. And I remember in our association meeting that Gaddafi was saying things concerning renewing visa and all that. Luckily enough for me, I was walking on the street of 288. Gaddafi was living that time in street 288, very close to Lucky, behind Lucky, some of you know. And I saw him upstairs. I took the courage. He saw me. You know, Gaddafi is one of the most open presidents that we've had. It's different. Every president have their personality. I approached Gaddafi. Gaddafi gave me the direction to the immigration office. He gave me the phone number to the immigration man. And since that day, the current time, that man is being the one responsible for my passport. And I always respect Gaddafi for that. Some of una go get information, una go the whole am, keep information for our hand, using it as an advantage to be siphoning money from our brothers, knowing fully well the condition to which we are living in our community. This is evil. This is evil, a big evil at that. We claim to be Christian, yet our environment and things we are doing does not reflect the real nature of a Christian. We need to change. Leaders must be living up to their responsibility in our community. Those of una where they beat on our women, a man that lays his hand on his wife is not a responsible man. A woman that is always abusing her husband or boyfriend and bringing her private affairs into the public, she herself is not a responsible person. We must understand, whether you are dating an African, you're marrying an African or a Cambodian in this country, beating a woman, we know the implication of it in our society, even back in Nigeria. We must change. We must change the way we do our things in our community today. You go carry Akuna, you know you don't have money. There were many Nigerians that were sent to jail, some 2000, 2011, 2012, 2013, and 14. These things happen a lot. Some of them did not even commit the crime because they just saw them either or that age. You live in a military country. Some of them now they forget because of the freedom when I just they get here and I just do what you like. It's 31 minutes. I didn't intend to talk about it, but these are things that are in my mind. We need to change. We need to change. We cannot be fighting at this age in a pot. And the idea that if anything goes wrong between you and somebody, or you have a misunderstanding with somebody, a man like you, all you just think about is fight, that means you are not mature. That means you are sick. We must disagree as human beings. We are from different backgrounds, different homes, different training. We must disagree. But violence, public fighting, disgrace, and all kinds of things, it's not always the solution to every problem. We need to change. This is one of the reasons that are affecting us as a continent, and particularly as a Nigeria. I not be anybody, but I like to speak. I like to say my mind anytime. We need a safer, more friendly, and more welcoming community so that we can earn our respect. One of the reasons why people don't respect Africans, because no disrespect, but I've seen the reality. It's not because we might think that we are intelligent, but we act very stupid and uninformed. That is the truth, based on the upbringing we had. And that's why sometimes most of us find it very difficult to live very well in every society we find ourselves. And so many of us are so Nigerians and Africanism that we cannot adapt to system of places we live in. And this is why a lot of things become very hard for us. Defend yourself. Defend who you are. Defend your country. Defend your continent. Defend your future. And as well as your children. The ones that are here with you, the ones that you have back home. You see this life? Nobody planned to live in a country like Cambodia or to do some certain things he or she is doing in life. This is what happened to us. I posted yesterday. I was thinking about this issue a lot until I have to speak to some people yesterday before making this video. It is not what happened to us that defines us. It is what we do with what happened to us. It's what we do. We cannot just allow that, okay, this is not the reality. You have the option of going back to your country. Can you really go back to your country? Can you really go back to your country and have a say and the freedom, electricity, water, free transportation, easy access. You go out in the morning, you come back midnight, or even the next time, nobody trouble you. Do you have that where you claim to be your home? Then when somebody provide you that, you are taking it for granted. We could wake up, we could get sense. That's just my message. I don't intend to offend anybody, but if this is offending you, that means you are doing something wrong. Because I have not insulted you, I have not called your name out, I have not said anything. But if this video offends you, that means you're doing something wrong and you need to have a rerun of your life. Check yourself, the things you are doing. If people are always calling your name in the events of ugly things that are happening in our community, I learned a lot in our community involvement, serving people, and that's why I love it. It makes me realize the life that we're living and understand humanity. We are full of deception, we are full of lies, we are full of ego, especially Nigerians. We need to change the way we do things. Cambodia is a blessed land. There are a lot of opportunities. And I want to encourage all the young people here, look for the right people and seek advice. Most of the things that I know now, if I knew them in my early stay in this country, I would have gone far. There was nobody. We don't have people who give us rightful information. We don't have people who advise us. And that's why a lot of things go wrong in our hands. If you know you are new in Cambodia, you will have difficulties because this country is close to Sodom and Gomorrah. Everything you want in life is available to kill you or to make you better. Seek advice. Make friends with the elders, the genuine ones, so not be those ones where they do something, they collect 3 times the amount of money from you. Look for the genuine ones. And I will always recommend our president. I will always recommend Mr. Austin. His number is available. Like the Nido page, go and get his number from there. There are official numbers available in the Nido page. Talk to him. Some of them I don't know how to talk to elders. When I go to approach elders because of say you have $10,000 and you feel like you are proud. Austin is one of those big people we have in this country. Even though say, na Yoruba man. Just because of his nature of simplicity, we are taking him for granted. I used to be ignorant of that reality. God exposed me to truth, and I know. Talk to him on issues. He's always available to address you. As long as you are honest, as long as you are determined to make effective changes in your life. I will always recommend Mr. Austin. Any one of them that are working with him, they are subordinate. If your state government or association level cannot deliver you the justice you need, that's where you can go to federal government. One of the reasons why we are struggling in Nigeria today is because all delegated powers are not really empowered to make decisions. And now, Peter Obi is campaigning and he's telling that there will be an autonomous levels of power for all state government in Nigeria. Why do you, as a state governor, need to go to Abuja and get permission to make decisions of insecurity in your country where you have the means to do so? This is one of the things that are wrecking our country today. And he has made that possible for us in our association. All the state leaders should be doing things that they should do instead of everything. We must wait for Mr. Austin, we must go to Nido. No. They're not creating the state, make we just drink or they do all this. If you don't know what to do, seek counsel. If you don't want to seek counsel, you don't want to learn it, resign your position. Why can't we resign where we are not functioning? The young guys that are coming, you are the main victims of all this rubbish. When you go a place, they say when Fa will enter a place for the first time, he raise 1 leg, don't raise 2 legs. Get information. And those of you who are involved in routing people into Cambodia, when I know myself, illegal migration is a big crime in the world. You collect a lot of money from people and put them here with all manner of promises, and at the end there is nothing to show for it. It's frustrating. And when this frustration is befalling these guys and they started doing so many things, when I go distance on ourselves, Later, when I will just dey talk, the draw, make una take care of una self. Una change o. I don't talk. I don't live. My name is Harry. I believe in a brighter future, and no mistake is too big and it's too hard that cannot be corrected. African community deserve respect considering the amount of money we are contributing to this community. Considering the number of legit business owners we have in our community, yet we have just 6 months visa. It's a slap in the face, and I'm looking forward to a day where there is going to be a proper address with the government and the community sitting down to dialogue to make sure that there is a further and tangible improvement in this area. God bless everybody. Thank you.